and welcome to yet another live stream. I'm sticking with it. We're going for these weekly live streams that I've you know called Smell It Sunday. That was the name since I started these, but it's been a long time since we've had these lives, and I'm looking to jump right back into them. And what are we going to talk about? One, it's Halloween, folks. Let's face the facts. We're days away at this point. It feels like Halloween outdoors, at least it does to me. But I was thinking about what are we gonna talk about on this live? We talked about some novels, Halloween novels, last week. Well, I was looking around the studio here. This is my little, very modest candle slash production studio, and I have so many candle. I have too many candles. I really do. That's not me boasting in any way. It's become a bit of a storage issue. A lot of the Halloween candles that I have are actually still in the packaging. They're still in the boxes. And I don't want to open up Halloween candles without you folks. So I figured we do it together. This is really going to be off the cuff. I'm going to be unpackaging them, showing, obviously the candle, but kind of going through what I go through every time I have a brand new candle in my hand. I really don't know what are in these boxes. I truly haven't smelled any of these. I don't believe any of these candles, and they're all sealed. So we're going to do these evaluations, not reviews, evaluations in real time, and have some discussion between you and I. Also, before we get going, something I've been doing for like 3 weeks now, and it's really been successful, is that I've taken some of my prized pieces, my candles from my collection, and I've put them up on eBay. Really, it was a hard thing for me to do. I I don't like parting with things that I collect, but there's certain things that need to be skimmed. I need to unload some of the things I have, and I want to make sure they're going to the right home. So, eBay, I have several listings currently. There will be more, and we'll be transitioning maybe to some Christmas items or at least holiday stuff when the time comes. How do you find these listings? Well, just simply go to eBay in the bar, the search bar, type in TCE for the candle enthusiast, TCE Halloween candle. That'll bring up all my auctions, but you could just search, do like a seller search. The seller name is Aromatic Adventures, and make sure to check out all the listings. Right now, I have up these sealed 2020 Witch City Wicks candles. I mean, these are right from Liz Fraser, the proprietor, right from her hands. She sends me a collection every year, and I have so many unburned candles at this point. I'm like, you know what? I bet you someone would really want these. So I have the entire 2020 collection, and that's going to include Black Bat, All Hallows Eve, Sleepy Hollow. I've never seen one of these up on eBay. And I certainly not put one up on eBay, but Sleepy Hollow it's just about everyone's favorite. I would say at least 90%. Poison Apple and Pumpkinhead. This is the entire collection for that year. And yeah, they're sealed. You know what? I can't even take them out of the tissue paper. That's how much of a collector I am. So I need to start being diligent and thinning out the collection. Plus, all of the proceeds go into funding future videos for this channel, not the lives, not candle evaluations. I want to, as I've said every time, but I have to say this constantly, just so we're all on the same page. All the money that we raise goes towards productions, out and about, whether it be, on the road traveling, whether it be fun destinations, seasonal things to do. That stuff cost a lot of money, and I'm at a point in this. I don't want to call it YouTube. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not. I see some bidding already happening. Thank you for whoever's supporting. I just, yeah, for a lot of these travel videos, I use pledges and donations, but I always end up, having to dip into my own wallet. And I just simply, it's not that I can't afford it. It's not really wise for this stage of my life to be taking vacations during the holiday season and spending all of my hard-earned money. T-shirts also available, just direct flat out donations, all available in the description below. Thank you for letting me say that. Now let us begin. I'm going to pull you folks up so I can see the chit chat area. If you're at home and you're available to be a part of the live chat, please feel free to welcome us. I see a lot of folks in the house. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Virgil says, that was my favorite All Hallows Eve. He's talking about one of these Witch City Wicks candles. I believe these were the same labels. That's the thing. I couldn't even take pictures of the labels because they're sealed and I didn't want to open them. I believe the labels were at least mostly the same as from the previous year, 2019. I could be wrong. Also, they didn't come in boxes this year. They came in this tissue paper. So I don't know if you're looking to save space. And let's do it. All right, so I'm trying to think when a lot of these boxes that are laying before me when they were received. They were scattered throughout a couple of years, and I got so behind because I stopped doing the live shows. And then at the beginning of this year, 2022, I was really not doing any candle content. I was trying to just, like I said, go out and about and do some fun videos. So some of these are been in my possession for a long time. I'm going to start with a friend of mine. She's been a friend of this channel and of myself since the very beginning. Her name is Leslie Pethybridge, proprietor of Silver Moon Candle Company. And I did open the box that she sent me, one of them anyway, but I haven't opened the boxes inside the box, which are these. There's 3 of them. This is great stuff. Look at the packaging here. What does it say? It says, I'm reading backwards. Tales of Halloween. I mean, this is cool stuff. I mean, I'm serious when I say this, that I like certain kind of candles. I like it when they come in boxes. It's very convenient for me because they're stackable for one, and my OCD really likes how they just kind of organize together. It's not just a bunch of jars, all different shapes, shoved on a shelf. So I like that she's trying something different right off the bat with using creative boxing. But let's see what's inside. There's still honey on this knife from last week's video. I'm doing it. I'm sorry, I don't have a napkin. I'm gonna get honey all over this box. All right. All right, so we certainly have some candles in there. Look at that. We have this, what do we call this? Back in the day, we called this like camo netting. My brother and I should say my brother, it wasn't me. He had many haunted houses, like haunted attractions, for a couple decades, starting when he was really young. And we do all of the set dressing ourselves, and we used to use this stuff all the time. just drape it everywhere. Just gives, a different, gives something else besides just cobwebs, right? Just the tattered, moth-eaten fabric in some old, good old-fashioned haunted house. All right, I'm going to try to do these quick because we have a lot to go through. Silver Moon Candle Company, Werewolf. I have talked about this candle before. I've actually, talked about it on a live, but it was a long time ago. I think it was 2018. So I honestly have no idea. This is interesting. So impressive, right? Big, massive musk powder room experience. So you get this very, very deeply musky, I'm afraid to say masculine, but I have to go there. I'm going to take Kringle Candle's Wolfsbane. Of course, it's over here. And we're going to compare them because I think many of you in the past have asked me to do things similar to that, because we have Wolfsbane by Kringle Candle. This is the original release, the 2012. One of those is up on eBay. Just saying, just saying. And then we have stuff like Absinthe-Minded Wicks Werewolf right here. Let's do like a kind of a menage a trois of werewolf aromatics. Start with, back to Silver Moon. So deeply musky, like as I said, big flower, big powder, big puff of powder in the bathroom situation here, but it has that, over that muskiness. It has like I said, I hate saying masculine, but my associations are saying masculine profile, very floral. But the floral has a creamy side to it. This is soft. We have to talk. I don't feel like I talk enough about the texture of smells a lot. This is not abrasive. It's not obtrusive. It's very pungent. It's a very strong smell, but it still has the perception of being soft, creamy. And what that does is it puts the idea into my head of fabric, soft fabric. In fact, it's not a huge stretch to say something like flannel or fleece or a nice cotton, right? And where that really works for a werewolf themed candle is, what do werewolves commonly have draping from their bodies, right? The clothes that they burst out from, whether it be the Incredible Hulk or Lon Chaney Jr.'s the Wolfman. There's tattered clothing, and that's what I feel like I'm getting. I feel like there is an old-time, old-fashioned, old-school, call it what you will. We went into a closet of someone who lived long time ago, and we smelled one of these shirts. There's that lingering cologne that speaks. It comes across as masculine, and it's at the same time a very comforting thing. We talk about it a lot, but you go into a closet of your father or your grandfather, or just someone who's near and dear to you, but is of a much older generation. There's a lot of emotional connections there that I think we all experience. And one of those experiences, deep comfort. We feel safe by these associations. So although this is working as spooky werewolf in the night, in the dark, there is a level of comfort to it, which is great because it's not just an escape. It's not just a story that's happening in the candle. It actually sets uh, a nice ambient aromatic experience in your living space. So that was Silver Moon's Werewolf. Let's take a look at this one from Absinthe Minded Wicks. Did a whole video on these a couple years ago. Yeah, so the reason why I pulled all of these out together, because they're kind of trying to do the same thing, I think. Very smart of them, but they're trying to do the same thing. There's a muskiness here, but this is a sweeter floral and not such a powdery muskiness. Musk, but more of like straight up rose petals, like a brand new pair of shoes. That leather smell. Yeah, I mean, like we're at the shoe dealers, the shoe shop, and we've opened up that box. We get that beautiful new leather that's shiny, but also uh, more of that masculine cologne of a different time profile. On cold, a lower intensity. So this is going to be uh, big time intensity. This is going to be a little bit more modest, but not much. And that's good if you're looking to control the intensity of a candle. If you have a big space, bam. But if you just have a modest sized living room or a bedroom, even a bathroom is a good example, right? You know, this might blow a bathroom out of the water. That might just be too much. But if you dial it back, that could work. And all the other nuances come out, right? Because you're not being dominated by the top notes. Ooh, okay. So Wolfsbane by Kringle Candle. This never gets old. Honestly, these original Kringle candles, I could just do a live show on them every week by themselves because, I have such a history with them. But it's so great to smell these and then jump to this Wolfsbane. There's a fruitiness here that's coming through, and it's hard not to go there because of the color of the label. But it does feel like we're getting more violets and more like, in my mind, just thinking of wildflowers. Like there's more of a fresh, wild, and sweet floral component to this. Does that make sense? Very musky, very intense, considering that this is a 10-year-old candle. And there's like a lotiony thing too. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect bathroom candle for Halloween or any time of year. But this is really a fun experience. But we're talking about silver moons, and this, I think, the main takeaway from this candle was its intensity. Very big, very monstrous, which is appropriate. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? I think you would say. I'm gonna check out these comments here, see how you guys are doing. That's too bad. They are all different though. No lids. See, I gotta be careful. Um, I've got to be careful because you guys are talking amongst yourselves. I'm looking for maybe questions or comments regarding the live. Let me see. I like musky pumpkin cinnamon scents of candles in a candle. Yes. Who was that? That was Nikki. Thank you for that. I think, yeah, I think that's why Halloween. All right, phone call that's being ignored. We'll get to that later. Love the Halloween house print in the background. That's not a print, actually. This is, I guess, a screensaver. I usually have like motion screensavers up, but there's something wrong with the application. I access these apps through Apple TV, and one of the applications that has like, movement and stuff that I love, and it's got many different backgrounds. I don't know, it keeps crashing. It might need to be updated. Uh, okay. All right. So thank you. Looks like everyone is talking amongst themselves, but I'll keep going back to that chat to see if there's any questions. And if I miss anything, don't be afraid to repost something. Let's do another candle. Why does it take me so long to talk about candles? Why do other people, like, they can do like an 8-minute video and talk about 5 candles and be done? Here I am, 21 minutes into this live video, and I'm just moving on to the second candle. All right, so we have something that's also reminiscent of Kringle candle here. Silver moon, still silver moon we're talking about. It's called Dead of the Night. Dead of the Night. You know, that's funny. I've never heard the Dead of the Night, those words being stitched together like that. Dead of the Night. This hand protruding from this graveyard, cemetery, boneyard, reminiscent of Kringle Candle's Graveyard Night. Not Graveyard Night, Alive! Exclamation point. Whew. Wow. That is interesting. That is definitely something you don't smell every day. All right, so I think I have a good understanding of what's happening here. There is a big, fresh, bright grass to this, which makes sense, right? We're in a cemetery, we're outside. It's a bright grass. It doesn't smell like cut grass. You know, it's not like a typical green smell that we get from a springtime candle. Like there's no florals here. It's not like dandelion. It doesn't, you know, I'm not really getting that fresh springtime, but there's undeniably this like bright grass. And what I mean by bright is it's got a zing to it, meaning by smelling it, you would perceive, you know, if I and tasted it, it would almost be acidic, like tart. And that's, let's say it's like lime juice, for example. That lime just brightens it up, just like a beverage that you're making. You know, you put a spritz of lime in there, you know, it pops, getting that citrus. That I really like that. You know, there I'm not necessarily smelling dirt there, but it's my mind is pulling at it. It's pulling at that place in my brain. You know, I'm being brought to like the nursery, not like the baby. You know, like the plants and potted soils, things like that. Like I'm in that greenhouse. Let's call it a greenhouse, not a nursery. Uh, very, yeah, fresh and tart. You know, mulch, yeah, soil. I don't know if they're in there, but like it all is relevant. And there is a fruitiness here, and I can't like it's pretty juicy. Like it's not zesty, it's not uh it's not really, it doesn't have a perceived like really big juicy sweetness is what I'm trying to say. And it's in the blue category, blue fruit. Um, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Let's just say blueberry. I know that's okay. If you want something a little bit more specific, let's go with huckleberry. Are you happy? Huckleberry, a little bit more geeky for you guys. Blue fruit, that's what's important. Even if you want to go to the plum area, there's that smell of blue, um, because we have those associations with berries and things of that nature. but it's so deep underneath this grass note that it's hard for that to really be picked out if you're smelling it. So you really have to search for it. This is an interesting take on an outdoor graveyard themed candle. Let me see if there's any wood. Not necessarily. It could totally be possible, but it's nothing very specific like sandalwood in here. Um, Dead of the Night. Interesting. I don't even know. I haven't talked to Leslie, the proprietor, candle maker. I don't even know if these candles are still available, or if they're retired. I don't know how it works. Let's open up one more of these boxes from Leslie, and then we'll move on. I have 3 of them here. What did I do with that knife? I lost the knife. We have, burning Kringle's Sleepy Hollow now in a big space and a little light. The dead of the night is about 2 a.m. Still musty, a chill. I can't read. I can't. I'm. I can read, but when it comes to like social media, kind of formatting how we speak in social media, whether it be comments and descriptions and in like the chat area, something's wrong with my brain or my eyes or both. Aliens in the sky. All right. You have that looming alien face up there in the sky right there. All right, something we don't see a whole lot of. Halloween and things from outer space, Martians, creatures, clowns, things of that nature. Clowns from outer space, you know what I mean. All right, interesting. There is a candy black licorice component. Maybe let's say root beer. So it puts an emphasis on that it's candy or sweet. It's not an aggressive herbal. Cinnamon. Maybe a little bit nutmeg in there because there's some wood. All right, so this is interesting. There's something resinous, really rich. I'm wondering if it's amber in this candle. What's interesting is that it's reminding me a lot of like a nautical candle, an aquatic candle, ocean, lake, beach, you know, bay, whatever it is, by the water, coast. But there's that inclusion of the cinnamon. And I said the licorice, that root beer, that's definitely something I was picking up on. But I'm wondering if the spice from the cinnamon was really activating that root beer thing in my head a little bit more. There is a saltiness. Yeah, so like a salty, fresh citrus. What defines a fresh summer candle, beach candle, right? It's actually to get going. If you're making a candle, it's, in my opinion, it's quite simple to get started at least, because what you need is something organic like floral, or even something like antiqued wood that can bring you into that world of like driftwood. Citrus, bright. We smell citrus, we think bright. Like, you know, it's we kind of, it's that that crispness in the air. And a saline, salty component, and we're getting all three of those. But what's different in this one is that there's spice there too, and that's something we don't normally. I can't think of one example where I can think of like a beach themed candle with spice and quite aggressive. But the effect is, it smells like a Bath and Body product. Like if I smelled this and someone said it is like a lotion from Bath and Body Works, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. It's very Bath and Body Works, um, but not necessarily cologne, perfume, body fragrance driven at all. Alien in the Sky. Um, yeah, there's a bark tree, conifer tree, pine cone, but not Christmas tree. That's interesting. That really is not so easy to wrap your mind around. Let's do one more and we'll move on. So what are the plans for Halloween, folks? What are we doing? Like, we going trick-or-treating with the kids, the grandkids, the nephews, the nieces? Are we staying at home watching spooky movies? Drinking some hot, tasty beverages? I think I'm going to be making food. That's my job for this Halloween. I'm going to be spending some time with my mom, my brother, and my aunt. And I think we're just going to get some fun, nostalgic food on the table. I was thinking about sausage and peppers, right? Sit out in the back patio, put on the coats, get a little cold, light a candle, bite into one of those dogs. Woo, steam's coming out. You know. Sausage and peppers is where it's at. Autumn night. Very pretty photo here. It's a little shake to my hands. Apologize for that. Red wax. Something just happened to me that probably happens to you all the time. Um, I had this brief moment when I was holding up this candle where I smelled like an autumn candle. I smelled cinnamon. I smelled leaves, like a candle smell, not like real. Go outside and smell the autumn. And that happens to me every now and then. When I see something, I actually smell it. I'm like, whoa. Nicole, they're from San Diego. And I wonder if the audio of, man, I am, I need, got to get these lives to be a little bit more professional. It's always a problem. Autumn nights. Yes, I smelled the candle before I opened the jar. But let's see if what I smelled in my head is similar to how it actually smells. No. Okay, that would have been cool if it did. This is nice. This is refreshing. This is not like I was expecting big autumn spices. This is really nice. Apple, caramel, butter, coarse sea salt. To be more specific, it is that Macintosh apple, baby. Yes, it is. And there's a wood component here. And at least in my mind, that wood plays the part of apple stem, apple barrel, apple crate, or if you really want to go crazy, um, apple brandy, like um, I'm trying to think of the name. Uh, Apple brandy. I do have a degree in beverages, and the name eludes me at the moment. But think of, yeah, like this is really nice. If you're doing like an apple cider cocktail or an apple infused cocktail, or if you're just simply doing apple desserts of any kind, this is definitely something that you're going to want to bring to this dining experience. Usually candles with dining experiences can be problematic because if it, usually within a meal, um, there are a lot of different flavors on the table, a lot of different aromas on the table. And then burning a candle on top of that, ooh, it can become. But if you're, just doing straight up apple tarts, apple pastries, apple cider donuts, apple pie for sure, or a really fun apple cocktail, this will be a complement to that experience. Yeah, and that caramel, that saltiness, even like a nice honey. Yeah, it really is bringing to life that, caramel covered apple on the stick being consumed outdoors on a cold October day. I really like this. It honestly, that is legit. Um, that is a perfectly serviceable candle that will be, in my opinion, a crowd pleaser. Autumn Night by Silver Moon Company. Da, da, da. Gonna do a walk in the morning to see all the decorations in the neighborhood and got a lineup of spooky, cozy books and watched the sunset. Love it. Mm, 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 mm. All right. What else do we have? I am being bombarded with text and calls right now. I don't even know what this is. All right, I'm not going to show the package because it's got addresses on it. The Candle Daddy. I'm having a tough time believing that this is going to be Halloween, but it was in my Halloween pile. The Candle Daddy out of Indianapolis to be more specific. Candle Daddy. All right, we'll mix it up. Who says they can't be Halloween candles? So this was sent to me, obviously, by the proprietor, I think, unless it was PR, but I think this is a micro batch candle company. I can't do it. The name of this candle is too controversial. This is a family-friendly show. Can't do that one. But I'm doing my best right now not to laugh because that was funny. All right. And harder I try not to laugh. Here we go. This is actually, the longer I try to go without laughing, the harder it becomes. This is actually very appropriate for Halloween, at least the name. And huge shout out to Stephanie Hall for the super chat. Stephanie says, "Happy Halloween, Shane. Loving Smell It Sunday again." I'm loving being back. Thank you, Stephanie, for your support as always. Okay, so Stephanie is familiar with Candle Daddy. Candle Daddy? Candle Daddy. And she says, Candle Daddy gets raw with their names. Yeah. This one, they're doing a little word play, but I'm going to go with the obvious interpretation. As in Charles Dickens, we have Dickens cider. All right. All right, Candle Daddy. Um, that's a great concept. Oh, that was on there tight. Looks like we're dealing with some soy wax, single wick, 8 ounces. Nice, nice, seriously nice. All right. And funnily enough, we're dealing with the same kind of candle that we just smelled, that autumn night, because we do have this apple, and we do have, an apple play, how do I want to say this? An apple play. Yeah, we're playing with apple juice. Um, like there is a little bit of that apple cider, fresh apple juice, but there, what I didn't experience with the last candle was this golden, like Mott's apple juice, like an oxidized apple juice, where with apple juice, what happens, I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming with apple juice, the acid, the acid that is prevalent, or uh, the acid in an apple is malic acid. I got to work on speaking. And this goes with wine too, just like grapes. Usually, when you make wine, you're converting that malic acid to lactic acid. That's why there's a much sweeter, more of a syrupy smell to apple juice versus like fresh squeezed apple juice or apple cider. And it's incredibly sweet. Getting some green apple here too. Really nice. Okay, so big apple play. It's hitting a lot of buttons in my apple brain. But there is a booziness here. I said apple brandy on the last one, but this is probably a little bit more appropriate because I'm actually getting this hint of, ooh, I got something in the glass here. And by that, I mean the sour note of that we usually get in a darker spirit, including that oak barrel aging that brings out those wonderful oak notes. I think it's the green apple or the candy apple in here that's really making this different than anything that I know up in my brain. Yeah, I don't want to say this to make it sound bad, but I do. There is a little bit of this green apple Jolly Rancher uh, happening here. Oh God, I just wish I could get that. There's something. Interpreting your internal images. I call it the Rolodex. So when you're smelling things, you have that Rolodex of images that are flashing through your brain. And usually when I'm smelling something, smelling a wine, smelling a candle, I don't say strawberry because I smell strawberry. Usually will happen with when I discover a smell, I'll see an image. And when I see that image, oh, that was a strawberry, it smells like strawberry, right? So my mind is not seeing images of the grocery store. What I do is I go through the memories. I'm like, what does this remind me of? Where does this put me? And when I see enough of those photos, I'm like, oh, okay, then it must be this, that, or the other. And what I'm getting here is, but I'm not quite figuring out what it is specifically that's giving this candle this quality. But I really am like, I feel like when I close my eyes, I have that apple, caramel covered apple on a stick. And I just can't think of what specifically about this. I'm just going to guess. I would love to do these experiments. If you have fresh apple juice squeezed right from an apple, or apple cider, they're going to be different, but either one. And if it's dreadfully cold outside, is that apple cider or apple juice going to taste different than if you're in a nice, warm indoor location? Does the temperature, the ambient temperature, do something to the aromatics? Well, of course it does. Uh, and in this case, uh, that's what it's doing. I feel like I'm smelling fresh apple juice, but it's really, really cold outside. And that is interesting. I don't know what it is that's making that happen, but I got a candle on a stick, or I have a fresh uh, glass or bottle of apple juice. And maybe I'll put it out there. I say this just about like every video I make, but I grew up in apple country, apple orchards, acres, hundreds of acres, thousands of acres, um, where I grew up. And yeah, I become very familiar with the smell of fermentation, or, apple plants, whether it be bagging, dicing apples, just crates of apples, apple skins, apple cores, no kidding. Machine separated apple bits would be adorned within the playgrounds of my childhood. And it's bringing me there. I feel like it's cold. I feel like there's apple orchards, an apple plant, like an apple winery, if you will, around us. And maybe a little bit of maple in here too. That was a pleasant surprise. I might burn this tonight. I am serious. Candle Daddy, are you listening? I'm going to burn this tonight. Dickens cider. I am going to be reading some Charles Dickens soon, though, so maybe I'll wait for that. I have a lot of homework to do when it comes to Charles Dickens. I've seriously only read The Christmas Carol many times, but I've only read The Christmas Carol. So I figure I should really tackle some other of his works because I love The Christmas Carol so much. And the irony is I own them all. All right, what do we have? This looks like it's been previously open. Still has packing peanuts in here. This is a different candle company. Candle Daddy, we're going to put aside for a minute. A lot of candles, man. I guess this is a good problem to have. But you see why I have eBay listings? I got to get rid of some of this stuff. Like, oh, oh. I'm so legitimately happy right now. Um, because this candle is going to make the perfect gift for my brother. Hope he's not watching. Um, all right, well, let me show the jar and then I'll talk a little bit about it. Michael, yeah. We're talking about Michael Myers, folks. The day he came home. Does that say that on the label? It doesn't. This is by Get Fictional. Candle company Get Fictional. Please look for them on Instagram. I've worked with these folks several times. They're incredibly friendly. They make great sense, and they do things like this. Nothing's licensed, I don't think, but they do. Like I've burned a Friday the 13th candle by Get Fictional. I burned, yeah, I think it was called Marley's Ghost, a Christmas Carol themed candle. This one, we're dealing with Michael. Now, I am a huge Halloween fan. I was going to say franchise. I'm not quite that. Like these new ones coming out, I hope you're enjoying them. I'm hoping you're liking them. I'm not interested. I really not. I'm becoming that grumpy old man. Like I like my old records, that's what I want. And what I mean by that is, yeah, the 1978 classic, John Carpenter's Halloween. That's where the nostalgia is. That's where my love is. And why this is going to make a great gift for my brother is because he recently purchased and received the greatest Michael Myers mask replica I have ever seen. Like, there's very few things that, in this world that are perfect. But this mask might be one of them. If you're a geek of horror films, if you're a geek of old school, 70s, 80s horror film cinema, uh, you'll know that there's so many specifics about what makes a Michael Myers mask make it look accurate. And the one he received, I was blown away. It was, his lifelong goal to hunt down the perfect Michael Myers mask. And he finally did it. So this will make a nice gift for him. All right. All right. Not what I was expecting, but I dig it. We got pumpkin gourd, but more specific than that. It's more of this like butternut squash, roasted butternut squash, sweet. Oh, it's salty. Oh, yeah, it's salty. But here's what's mixing it up. It's savory, it's salty, it's buttery. There's a little bit of sage in there, maybe some thyme as well. There's an herbal component here that brings this into what I call autumn phase 3. There's 3 different autumns for me when it comes to burning candles. We have harvest being the first phase, then we have Halloween being the second phase, and then the third phase of autumn for me is the bounty, the food, the warmth, the spice, the savory, right? What's in the kitchen? What's on the dining room? What's in the pastry that we cannot avoid? And this is definitely hitting that note. This is a cooked, a really nice roasted, bubbling butternut squash that kind of tells the story of the classic Halloween pumpkin. But we have not just the savory notes, but a little bit of that sage that turns it into this Thanksgiving-esque dish. It's not aggressive, just that touch of that herbal um, um, garnish. It just gives it that added flavor. And weirdly enough, it's speaking breakfast to me too. You know why? I think I know why. I'm picking up a little bit of the herbs and spices from breakfast sausage. That's what it is. This is not like, oh, this is a Michael Myers candle. It smells like Jimmy Dean. No, no. We're just talking about like the fennel, right? And the Italian spices that are inside, like herbs de Provence, inside that sausage. But a nice coating, a lacquer, a protective coating of just sweet Halloween goodness. That is a good candle. I am happy. We see that the split mask is in reference to the Halloween 4 and I guess 5 cover art or poster, but it looks kind of beat up as it appears in the more contemporary versions. I saw the first one, meaning like the one that was released in 2019. Was it 20? I think it was 19. And I think I did see the second one. Yeah, and they're on the third now. I guess they're fun, but I think the 78 is a classic, true classic. I'm not just a fanboy in saying that. I think it's a wonderful artifact of cinema history. Absolutely. And I'll take on any movie aficionado, any buff, any movie fan, and I'll play fair, but I'll have a legitimate debate with you, and I will make my points. Why Halloween is one of the greatest, not just horror films of film history, but just one of the greats, at least just from the 70s. Another get fictional candle. Yeah, I enjoy this Oh my God. It's like they're reading my mind. So Hill House, I was just saying to myself this morning that the next book that I'm going to pick up was probably going to be The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. So, yeah, Shirley Jackson, Haunting Hill House, 1964, 64. Maybe it could have been later in the 60s. But a classic horror, uh, short novel, not a short story, but a shorter sized novel. And but I have never read it. I know the story through and through, and it's got the classic imagery of the spiral staircase there. Get, get a nice Nautilus spiral. And we have some fragrance notes. Do we have fragrance notes on this one? We do. Ha! Halloween. They're right there. And I didn't read them. And it says starring. I love that. Kind of playing off the movie poster. So this Michael candle has almond. Definitely get that. Like an almond extract. Like not raw almonds or almond paste. We're talking like the almond extract that smells sweet and very pistachio-like. Pumpkin or butternut squash. Vanilla. Yeah, it's like a deconstructed candy corn. And spice. Spice, a little bit of those herbs. And I see the fragrance notes here, but I honestly didn't read them yet. I should not have looked. Hill House. Oh. Got a little bit of Johnny Depp's Closet in here. You follow? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? The reference that I'm making? Yeah, that is nice. Wow, I really am getting lucky today. Honestly, I usually keep things positive and I'm usually very enthusiastic when it comes to all candles. But this is an odd experience where like a lot of these are really doing it for me today. Disney fired Tim Burton many years ago. Oh, right. And I missed the comment. It went away. But he did a great job without them. He's got a long history with Disney. He began his career with Disney. So maybe that's what you're talking about. But yeah, he was canned. But then he obviously uh, produced a lot of Disney films later in his career, including directing Alice in Wonderland. Okay, so Johnny Depp's Closet. Yeah, that's an old reference that I've made on several candles, meaning it's like um, this particular masculine wooden smell is what I would imagine Johnny Depp's Closet smelling like. Whenever I get this dry, very dry, splintery wood, teak wood, really elegant, antiqued wood here. Whenever I get this smell, it brings me to a situation where I'm smelling an old piece of furniture, like a wardrobe or dresser drawers, something like that, or a closet. And all of the many items in that closet, as far as fabrics, it's such an eclectic um, collection of clothing that we would expect from a Johnny Depp's Closet. Like all of the different characters that he's played. I really like this. I'm just okay. Let me see if I can actually get paint a little bit more of a portrait though. Yeah. So if you've ever gone antiquing, usually in those places where the prices are astronomical, not like a thrift store, but like one of those legit antique stores, and you know what I mean. Some of them are large, some of them are 2-3 stories. A lot of them have things like balconies or lofts. And the deeper you go into these antique stores, the more the ambient smell seems to increase, does it not? It's not just the furniture or the, the, the decaying of paper and cardboard materials, but it's the roasting of the actual building, the untreated wood floors and stairs and railings. It's like it has a little bit of an attic smell because that sun beats on those buildings every day, and they're very large areas that are probably not ventilated that well. So that's why when you haven't been in the attic for a long time, you open it up and it's like, whoa, that is a monster smell because it's all just stewing in there. It's slowly roasting in that attic, that those aromas of all the things that are, I guess, breaking down, whether it be the wood or, like I said, the paper materials. But this feels like one of those fancy antique stores, and we're in a far deep corner. We're up on the balcony. We're up the steps all the way in the balcony, and there's just spotlights everywhere. And it's just, again, just heating up the surface of all of that wood and furniture and just throwing up this amazing smell. I definitely see how that smell correlates with the Hill House from Haunting of Hill House, or the Netflix Haunting, the Haunting show, if you've seen that, where we're in a very old residential house here. Um, Not a lot of marble and things of that nature, like stone, but this is definitely an older, like New England house. Lots of wood. Uh, you know, this is definitely a candle that falls into the category of a library candle. If you love the smell of books, you love the smell of, cigar lounges, that just the room is just filled with so much paper and tobacco, pipe tobacco from years past. It's embedded itself in the walls and in the furniture. Um, that's what's happening here. And that wood is doing a fantastic job of creating the smell of paper. I feel like I'm smelling paper here. That is, I don't think I've seen it done quite this way. A library candle. This may be just one of the best examples. Like, if someone's looking for one of those brand new book or a library book, an old book candle, this might be my new suggestion. What do the fragrance notes say? Haunted halls, old books, and night terrors. So not a literal translation, more of a poetic translation. Very cool. Hill House by Get Fictional. I see Rose and Maria in the chat area. Uh, Rose, I'm wondering if you received the giveaway prize from last week yet. And Maria, I think it's Maria. I hope I'm not messing that up. Maria, let's just say she was the runner-up. I have something going out to you as well, but it shouldn't be there yet. All right. Man, I could have done a whole video on these. I love the simplicity. There's something about the typeface and the construction, kind of the formatting of these candles. They feel very Instagram worthy. Just has that vintage paperback novel quality to them, or old movie poster. Ghostface by Get Fictional. There's fragrance notes. So Ghostface from the franchise Scream, created by Wes Craven. Miss you, Wes. Wow. All right. So we're going to have to do a little skip over this one. It's very good, but it's so similar to two other candles we talked about, the Dickens cider and that autumn night candle. Was that what it was called? Yeah, it's very apple, very woody. There's a sweetness that, I wouldn't mind saying a little bit less caramel, a little bit more maple for this one. Very tart apple, still red, but very tart, with a nice, very, very minimal, just a touch of cinnamon spice comes in at the end. And you know what? Let's say if this was a fresh apple drink, let's put a little dollop of cream in there. Just a little dollop. Mix it up. Yeah, there's kind of something that's given this a little creaminess. Maybe we have a creamy donut next to our beverage. Very good, but I do want to move on because I don't know. I think that's empty. I will check later. All right, another movie themed wax. That we have a clamshell package here. You're going to need a bigger boat. Famous quote from what movie? Steven Spielberg's Jaws. Very cool. Fragrance notes. I forgot to say it on the Ghost Face. Ghost Face, the blood red apple. I agree. Gooey caramel. I agree. Maybe a little bit of maple syrup in there. Dark brown sugar. That's the molasses. Is probably where I was going with that maple sugar or maple syrup. And the fragrance notes here are fantasy. They're not literal. So it says you're going to need a bigger boat starring summer fun, ocean mist, shark bites. Brought to you by Get Fictional. All right, so Jaws. An aquatic candle? That's interesting. Is there an aquatic candle that's appropriate for Halloween? I think so. Do I have it near me? I don't. It was Yankee Candle's 2017 spring release. Oh God, am I forgetting the name? Black Sands Beach. I called that candle Sea Witch because it was like a patchouli, like witch's brew, patchouli ocean-esque candle, salty sea air. I wonder if this will be similar, different. Wow, that is a very sealed. It wasn't easy. Whew. I don't even need to get close to this one. Yeah. They're really doing a good job here. I'm serious. Get Fictional. I want you to look up everyone that I'm talking about, but Get Fictional is just one of those smaller micro candle companies, right? They're really, they've been around for a while, and I've never smelled anything that I didn't enjoy thoroughly. There is a fruity, like a stone fruity peach plum nectarine. Fruity lotion. Yeah, I mean, it's like we took a nectarine and lime bubblicious piece of bubble gum, and we turned that flavor profile into like a Bath and Body Works lotion, right? So we have a lotion, those familiar smells that we get with just a neutral lotion, but with some of that very bubbly, very youthful fruitiness in there. Yeah, and that lotion has like a zing to it, a spice, not baking spices, just a little peppery spice, little peppery spice, very pleasant. Maybe I shouldn't say the lotion. The floral encompasses the fruity and that zing spice. Trying to think of like what kind of flowers, orange blossom, in that realm, neroli. Yeah, the more I smell it, the more the springtime becomes prevalent. Um, it There's a depth to the floral notes here, but really does make me think of summertime and the beach. It really does. I think it's because of that sun lotion thing. And again, we have the floral, the citrus that creates that fresh, crisp oceanic air or breeze. And there it is. So several years ago, I visited for the first time. I spent a lot of time, a lot of years in the greater Los Angeles region, but I had never visited Malibu. So I took my sister-in-law and my camera. I got her permission first, but we went driving and we went out to Malibu and we drove really high up on this this hill. How the roads just spiral and spiral up those rocky cliffs. And we found this great passage where just the natural landscape was creating this funnel. When I was looking out, I saw the ocean, and on the sides were these rock faces, and they kind of tapered in, and I was standing right there. So that air was just funneling in from the ocean, and it was aggressive wind. Where if you drove down the road a little bit, nothing. It just when you're up that high and the ocean is that close, it just brings all of this in. And you could not only just smell the ocean, but all of the green vegetation, the wild things growing on the side of the road, that sun-kissed asphalt. Uh, and also on that trip, we stopped at one of those vendors that are selling the fresh cut melon. Oh, so good. And the fruitiness in here, it's kind of making me think of that day, but it's doing a really wonderful job creating this Malibu. My experience in Malibu, it rained and then the rain went away. You know what that smells like when the asphalt just kind of steams a little bit. There's a little bit of vapor after the rain stops, and then the sun comes out, and now there's a completely different aroma. Yet the sun is heating up all of the damp organic things that we find on the road. It was a really beautiful winding road with wildflowers and just I remember picking stuff up off the ground, and it was like smelled like culinary herbs. It was a wonderful thing. So I'll be honest, I can't see anything Halloween here. But if you're not a big fan of Halloween and you're looking for something to burn on, like if you're not a big fan of Halloween scents, is what I'm trying to say. If you're not a big fan of Halloween scents, but you're looking to burn something for Halloween and you like the idea of Jaws and Halloween, yeah, it's a really, forgetting about the concept for a second, this is a really well executed beach candle. It hits all of those things that we want, and it still has the ability to not feel stale, like, oh, I smelled this 100 times. There's a freshness here. You're going to need a bigger boat. I like it. I don't burn a lot of candles in this genre. but if I did, this might be one I'd reach for very often. All right, I'm going to look at some of these comments. We still have more boxes. We're about 75 minutes in. What you said with the mask of Michael Myers, I have that with Harry Potter replicas. After 4 years, I bought this week finally Lucius Malfoy's walking cane wand / wand. It's amazing. I'm so happy. Well, congratulations, Nikki. I'm very happy for you, from one collector to another. Stephanie says this sounds amazing, Nikki. Oh, she's commenting on your comment. Adam, that's a great question, Rose. I'm doing a horrible job of picking out comments here. Matthew Wyatt in the house. Matthew, huge shout out. Hope it's really being bombarded here with phone calls. Hopefully everything is okay. As I was saying, Matt was a fine gentleman who sent me the box of Michigan goodies. I've already dipped into several of these goodies, so thank you very much, Matthew. But what was really special is he sent a lot of literature on things to do in Michigan, state of Michigan, and this is great. And when I have a new PO box, I think I'm going to ask you guys to do the same. If there's something that you know about and you want to share, what great way to do it, and to do it cheap than to just like send me a brochure. People always want to send gifts, and gifts are great. They're very, very great, but I hate to see you guys spending money on gifts. So this would be a great way, I think, for you to highlight things that you really enjoy, whether it be attractions, museums, things of that nature. Um, um, Rose says, I did receive my prize. It's wonderful. I have it in a very special place in my china cabinet. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Rose, um, for participating, and I'm very happy for you. I'm glad it made it to you safe. I always worry that they're going to get damaged in the mail. Rose says, Shane, for next week's live, can we find a picture of you in the Invisible Man costume? I wish I had it, to be honest. I really do. I have some fun Halloween night photos that I found throughout the years of like my childhood, but I don't have a picture of that one. Wouldn't be much to look at. Um, And Matthew says, my pleasure. Again, really appreciate that. And we will have, like I said, a new P.O. box soon. So if you folks want to send anything that we want to open up on one of these lives, whether it be something fun, just to laugh, or if you have something you really want to share that's relevant, we can do that too. So this is a gift box from candle company that I've worked with many times, and I am a big fan, and that's going to be Lunar Light Company. Yeah, we've actually done giveaways of Lunar Light before. Awesome little tricks and treats, some personalized postcards from Alex. Congratulations, Alex, if you're watching. I think you know what I mean. I just don't want to say it publicly, and just in case you don't want me to share. But congratulations, and thank you for that. I will read that later. Oh man, So many candles, guys. So many candles. Yeah, it's just a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see why it's hard for me to open these, because where do I put them? Where do I put them? These were all meant to be done for live shows. Just, they've accumulated. I'm taking one here at random. We'll do a couple more candles. Is that okay? You guys aren't in a rush, are we? All right, good. Well, while you're waiting for me to get this packaging off, if you have the ability to hit that thumbs up button, that works. It does a lot of good for me. It does. All right, I've smelled this one. Maybe I haven't. I'm just very familiar with the label. This will be a fun one to try. Halloween Party by Lunar Light Candle Company. Yeah, this will be a fun one to try. I smell bread. Cinnamon. Yeah, and I think that bread is supposed to be like a doughy pastry, like a phyllo dough kind of thing. But it is coming off to me as a little bit of toast, a Maillard reaction, toastiness on that bread. Spice, a little bit of savory, salty, very sweet, very confection sweet, like candy sweet. Well, I shouldn't say candy. Well, candy, yes, but sugar, like sugar cane. Sugar, sugar, sugar. When I'm smelling a sugar, see what I'm saying? Can I have my own fun with this one? Because I have all the components. So we have everything that I've said. Uh, the toastiness, the salty, the sweet. Um, let's do a, a candy corn, cinnamon toast, cinnamon toast, butter, and take that candy corn. Don't crumble it like that. Maybe we can melt it down to a nice, uh, thick but still very runny syrup consistency. And we could just do a nice little candy corn drizzle on top of that cinnamon toast, buttered cinnamon toast. And there is a pumpkin gourd, like not pumpkin spice, but a pumpkin gourd thing. Yeah, like fresh pumpkin. And it's out in the front patio or porch, right? It's really cold. And you stick your hand in the pumpkin when you're doing it. If you pull it from outside, how it's like putting your hand in ice. It's so cold. Well, cut that pumpkin in half and just smell those innards. Maybe not so much the innards, but the flesh inside and the seeds. And it really does make this extra yummy, having that pumpkin thing in there. And although I said that candy corn drizzle, this is a distinct frosting. Frosting. Not anything else. We're talking like we're scooping this out with a knife or a spatula. We're putting this on a cake or some muffins. And with that gourd, it kind of makes this carrot cake thing. You know what I mean? Because carrot, although not a gourd, uh, has very similar aromatic profile. Or similar is not good. They're they have similar qualities, right? A fresh carrot, shave that carrot down, right? And smell the shavings with the gourd, right? It's close enough where in my mind that frosting and the spice and that breadiness is bringing me to carrot cake. And this is weird, but it is coming to mind. Gumdrops. We know gumdrops, the red gumdrops, or cinnamon gumdrops. They look like dots. They're like little mushroom cap shaped candies, gelatinous, sugary, not jiggly, but have that gelatinous texture. The cinnamon ones. Why is that coming to mind? I don't know. It's not monstrously cinnamon, but there's definitely cinnamon here. And I think because of that candy corn thing I was saying, it's bringing up those gumdrops. And my dad used to have candy dishes all throughout his house, like these, like, how do we say it? I don't know, just like old fashioned, I suppose, very 60s, 70s, ornate glasses. And he would, bowls, and he would put in candy. And some of those dishes had just straight up cinnamon or red gumdrops in them. He just loved the red ones. That's it. And, they'd sit there for a long time. They'd become incredibly hard. Before you know it, they've been there for a year. But, as stale as they possibly would be to eat, the smell is just like, wow. I can still imagine sticking my nose in one of those bowls. Very nice. Halloween party. So, yes, we're dealing with some classic Halloween scents here, things that we closely associate, uh, certainly for Halloween night. I like it. I like it a lot. And Nikki Gessler from Washington Wicks, thank you so much. Haven't seen you in a long time. It's great to see you, Nikki. And she's thrown in a $5 super chat. That's so very kind of you. Very much appreciated. And if we don't know Nikki, let's have a discussion. I have some Washington Wicks around this place. I have a lot of Washington Wicks around this place, but I just have to find some. Bingo, bango. We talked about Halloween already, Nikki. I don't know if you saw it, but Get Fictional Candle Company. They sent this to me. I think it was actually a little bit more than a year ago. Michael, as in John Carpenter's Halloween, but more than a couple of years ago, Nikki sent me a couple of Halloween themed, not Halloween as in the holiday, Halloween as in the film, themed candles. And here's one of them, Laurie's Revenge. And look at that. We see Michael in the shadows there over the shoulder of Jamie Lee Curtis. Loved this candle so much that I didn't want to burn it. I love the frosted matte black glass jar, the black treated wooden cap, and the label design here. Got a quote on the top of the label here. Happy Halloween, Michael. Good stuff. Good stuff. I was actually considering giving this one to my brother as well. I told you that I was going to give that other Michael Myers candle to my brother, but maybe I'll throw this one in there. I like that. That is how do I say this? Is a departure from Halloween and kind of something that is refreshing because it's not so much Halloween as it is a horror film themed candle. You know what I mean? Like there's difference between a gothic novel or a horror novel versus a novel that's really going to immerse yourself into Halloween. And this is really, this is a conceptual candle. All of Nikki's candles are that that is making me think a little bit more in the parameters of the film. And I know that she released these with the advent of the franchise being renewed. Is that 2018? I can't keep track. But Nikki, thank you for hanging out with us today. Let's do, what else are we doing here? So talk about a couple books. You know, I wanted to see if I can, that feels natural to keep maybe like a part of all of these lives. You know, maybe I'll like highlight one book. I liked it. And so I just picked two random ones. Um, you know, we talked about Bram Stoker's Dracula last week, but I made a really nice discovery this year. It's a used copy because this is something that's out of print and quite hard to find. I wanted to get the hardcover, but settled with the paperback because, well, sturdy enough and looks good on the shelf, but it has some wear and tear on it anyway. It is Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it's an annotated version. Now, there's many annotated versions of Bram Stoker's text, but this is an interesting one because it's not like pop culture facts, movie facts. You see that a lot in Bram Stoker's annotated versions of Dracula. This is more of, think of it this way: if the author here, introduction, well, no, it's done by Leslie S. Klinger. Leslie, it's a he. You know, it's as if he's writing his annotations as if this was an artifact. The actual text was an artifact. Like if this was all true facts from cover to cover, his annotations are made by like, wait a minute, back then, so and so, this, that, and the other, right? If there's something mysterious in the text, something spooky, he tries to analyze it. It's a great companion. It's almost like when you're reading it, you're getting the commentary of someone quite intelligent and knowledgeable, but also kind of giving you added things to think about. So if you're like me and have read Dracula several times or even just once, and you want a different experience with it, check it out. It's available on eBay. You might get a crummier copy than this, unless you want to spend a chunk of change. I got this for like 20 bucks, but it's worth looking into. I like annotated books, but I'm usually let down with the notes. You know, I feel like it's a distraction. Sometimes it's like, okay, that's relevant, but it's taking me out of the story. I haven't read this whole thing, but I have read bits and pieces, and I'm liking this. I'm liking the feel here. And Leslie Klinger also did an annotated Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's. So interesting, right? Here's something I have not read, but I'm excited to read it. And it bridges Halloween with the holiday season, Christmas specifically. It's going to be Nosferatu, Nos4A2, Nosferatu by Joe Hill. You may have read this, but you also may have seen the AMC original show. It was an adaptation of this novel. There's also graphic novels that Joe Hill collaborated with. I watched the series. You know, I think it was a good show. But more than that, it really left imagery in my mind. And I liked it. Like, very soothing, relaxing landscapes, very New England. Uh, and especially, if you're not familiar with the story, the show, or the book, or the comic books, there's a an amusement park that's in this book. It's called Christmas Land. Nothing like, well, I shouldn't say nothing like Nightmare Before Christmas. In fact, that's a great example. Imagine a real life Christmas town from Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, there's the main protagonist in this film is searching for kids, eating kids, and taking them back to his Christmas themed amusement park that's in the middle of nowhere. But it's very, I'm going to say it feels very, uh, uh, again, I've only seen the show, but it feels very Stephen King to me. It has that Stephen King coming of age feel, like Stand By Me, It. Even though the protagonist in this is quite a bit older and she has a child, it still has that Stephen King feel. And what's funny about that, or interesting, maybe not funny, is that Joe Hill is actually Stephen King's son. So I hate to be the person who like highlights that for the book, but since I really haven't read it, I'm excited for this book. A lot of people love it. It's like legit horror with tongue-in-cheek humor, but it bridges that Christmas thing. And I just like that so much, right? I think there's so many of us. There's people who like Nightmare Before Christmas. There's people who don't like it. But then there's people like, I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, this movie is like what my heaven looks like. And, there's something about this concept of this book that I think is really going to fill those nostalgic things inside me, even the nostalgic scenery and environment of good old fashioned New England. So, yes, a horror novel from the Stephen King bloodline, dealing with both Halloween and Christmas and horror. Yes, I am down. But it's gonna be a little bit. So let me know in the comments if you've read that, or if you have any other recommendations, things that I should check out, or things I should talk about for upcoming lives. I just like talking about books. I'm gonna try it. I've never done it. I don't have a language for talking about books, but let's see what we can do. Uh, Hi Shane, I'm going to go there. When can we anticipate another aromatic adventure? Um, I think maybe this was the Santa's Village. So what's kind of it's kind of fun for me is the theme park in that book, Nosferatu, is very reminiscent of Santa's Village up in New Hampshire. It really is. It's not in the middle of nowhere, but it kind of is. It's on the northern slopes of the White Mountains, and it's just desolate in some areas. So, and when you go there, whether it be late October or November, December, there's snow. There's just snow all the time because of the elevation, and it's a really neat place to go if you like that sort of thing. Like, imagine staying in a little cabin, kind of tucked away off on the side of the road, sleeping in bed at night, right? You're lodging there and you hear the howling wind. You turn on the radio because they have radios. And yeah, there's just something so comforting about it. I love it. I love the snow. I love the quiet. I think it's just because I've lived in very populated areas in my lifetime, and I've never really had that quiet. It's very quiet up there. But the question is, am I going to go there? I am planning to go this year. It's going to take, yeah, I mean, something's going to have to get in the way for me not to go, but I have every intention of going. You guys know where I stay. You know what my routine is. I go, as soon as the gates open, and I'm there for the entirety of the day. And in December or late November, they're open all day. I think it's like 11 to 10 or 11 to 11, whatever it is. But I am there the whole day, and I'm gonna again. I'm trying to be safe here. My intention is to go and to film and to have something edited by Christmas Day. That's a very scary thing because usually the Santa's Village videos are very difficult because you're filming on the go. It's a lot of vlog, but it's a lot of video photography. I try to get some interviews here and there, some behind the scenes. It's a lot of different components, and for me to edit that really quick is so hard. And it's so close to Christmas that it's been problematic in the past. But my intention this year is to do it all and to have it ready on Christmas morning or maybe Christmas Eve on midnight, something special. Because I think there is something fun. It's definitely fun for me to release something like that on Christmas Day. It's a great feeling to post something that you've worked on for a long time to begin with, but to do it on Christmas Day and to know that, people can put it on in the background while they're opening up their gifts. I dig it. You folks have sent me photos of like you and your family watching one of my Santa's Village videos up on the big screen. I love that. That's the biggest gift, the biggest surprise. Stuff like that puts the biggest smile on my face. So although I've done 5 Santa's Village videos, depending on how you want to define the videos, because there are different formats. But I try to do something different every year. And what I haven't done, I still have to do, and COVID really made this an issue, is I haven't talked to Santa Claus at Santa's Village yet. All the years I've been going, I have yet to meet Santa Claus. We're in his village. We're going to need to find him, or we're going to need to talk to him and ask him some questions. Maybe ask him get some advice on how we should celebrate the Christmas spirit in this day and age. What are we neglecting to do or forgetting? Virgil, my friend, my buddy, is executive producer on the Patreon, Candle Enthusiast Patreon page. Virgil is a huge support to this channel. Very grateful to have you with us and to see your contribution, your super chat for today. And he simply says, Happy Halloween. I hope that's for all of us because that's just about what I'm going to do. I want to wish all of you folks Happy Halloween. I know that I don't respond in the comments a lot. I have my own issues that I'm worried about. I kind of gives me heebie-jeebies to go into the comments and see what everyone's saying. But I'm facing my fears, and I'm going to be getting in there soon and responding to the comments. But don't think that I don't read them. I do. I read all the comments. So please share anything you want, especially if it's stuff like, when should we have these lives? Should we have them like noon Eastern time? A little bit later in the evening? Is Saturdays, are they better? What things that we would like to see, things that we would talk about on these lives, anything. I need your feedback because this really is our show. The show is back. The live streams are back because people, you folks wanted them. I'm not, this is, I always thought this was silly, me sitting down, unscripted, talking about candles, but you guys seem to enjoy it. And I'm very, very much, appreciative of that. I never take that for granted, but I felt it was only fair to bring these live streams back. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you folks what you want. What coffee am I sipping on today? Says Washington Wicks. Trying to think of the name of the roaster. It was a gift from Matthew, viewer of Candle Enthusiast. We sent in a gift box of main products last week. And one of those was a locally not locally sourced, a local bean roaster. And it was a Colombian, or not Colombian, Costa Rican roast. And it's lovely. It's not what's in this now, but I did have a cup of that this morning. And that cup was special. I've had a couple of times. Very, very mild, like not super intense flavor, but elegant. High acidity, strong nuttiness. It's more of a low talker, but someone who has wisdom and value in what they have to say. Stephanie says earlier is better if possible. Yeah, I've been trying these evening shows. Well, Matthew's saying Sunday evenings are perfect. I'm going to keep playing around. Maybe I'll, instead of setting a time for every week, I'll do one on the earlier side and I'll do one on the later side. And in time, we can decide which is better. One thing I need to say again, and excuse me for repeating myself, but this is very important. It's important for all of us if we're enjoying making videos, seeing more videos posted. I'm posting. I've been posting candles from my collection up on eBay, and we're doing really good. It's actually raising a lot of money for the funding of future videos. But it's also helping me because I just have too many candles, and I have about like 15 more that I just unboxed, and things I didn't even show you, maybe even more than 15. There's boxes here that I haven't even opened. So I need to share these candles, and what better way to make sure that they're going to good homes. We're helping raise money for the show, for the channel, and it's good all around. I've never been good at like pushing sales and promoting. So just bear with me with my uncomfortable sales pitch. But if you're looking to support the channel, a great way to do it is, and to get something in return in as much as getting a physical item, is going on eBay, searching TCE, as in the candle enthusiast, TCE Halloween candle. There's several, including the Witch City Wicks candles that we posted about, some other interesting ones. That Wolf's Bane that we talked about is up there, and I will be posting more. So save the seller name. My profile name for this channel is Aromatic Adventures. You can save that on your personalized settings on eBay, and this way you'll see anytime I post something. A lot of things go for great prices, and there's some fun little like bid outs between you guys. And that's great because, you know, those like premium prices when the candles just go for a little bit more than they're probably worth, that's great because that money is going towards this, you know, and hopefully really fun things that we can do in the future on the road, out and about, and make it happen as regularly as possible. That was a hard one for me to get out with. I'm trying to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. We talked about that. Stephanie saying she loves her wolfsbane. She doesn't know if she wants to burn it. That wolfsbane that she has was right off my shelf. She got that from eBay. And that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I hope I'm doing a good job with this, at least filling the time. But I'm excited. I'm excited to do this again. I feel very relaxed. I used to get worked up doing these lives. I did. It's kind of weird to be in your own personal space, but know that there's a lot of people watching and like critiquing the things that you're saying. I just don't care anymore. I mean, I got so many other things to care about. How I am being portrayed or how I'm portraying myself, that's not one of the things I'm worried about, especially when I'm talking about candles. So thank you for joining this Smell It Sunday. I like what my hair is doing right now. I like that. Just wanted to put that out there. I want everyone to have a happy Halloween. I'm playing with the idea of doing something fun as we get near to Halloween, maybe like a nighttime thing. I don't know, a live or video, something. I'll figure out something that we can do. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. Hit the little bell so you get a notification every time I go live. Follow me on Instagram. It's another great way to get notifications or just to keep on top of what I'm doing. My handle for Instagram is candle.enthusiast. That's it. Happy Halloween, folks. In the comments below, tell me what you are doing this year for Halloween night. I want to know. I legitimately want to know because I'm still open to possibilities. I might steal some of your ideas. All right, folks. Have a great week. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great dinner. Something warm and cozy to drink. Sitting on the couch, reading a book, watching a movie, burning a candle. I'll see you next week, folks. Take care.